sites identified were on either side of the pathway, and we came across the idea of connecting them together and potentially creating an arch, and in talking about what type of arch to make. We wanted to draw a connection to the actual sandstone arch on the building, which is one of the most iconic features of the architecture. Afterimage is often described as this experience you have when you look at a bright icon or a bright light, and then when you close your eyes you see a continuation of that burned onto your retina for a few moments. When we first approached this project, we really wanted to get into some of the more nuanced details of the arch. And as we kind of developed the idea further and explored some of the feasibility, through engineering and even budgeting and what's realistic to build, we kind of had to make some reductive decisions about exactly which lines were important to convey the shape and the sort of icon of the arch without overcrowding it or oversimplifying it. It was an iterative process where we were able to kind of try it a little more detailed, try it with a heavier line, try it with a lighter line, until it felt like this kind of really represents the shape itself and the icon of the arch.
After the process of designing the piece, it had gone to the fabricators and then it went to the painters. And from the painters, we went to pick up the piece to install it at cSPACE. So we had never actually seen it assembled as an archway in real space, like with that height and width and like the whole feeling of the piece in place. And so as we were building it, you felt like you were drawing something back into reality. Like all of these pieces were coming together and you could watch this archway, this semi-transparent archway be built in front of the original very opaque archway in the distance. And that moment of standing back and looking at the sculpture framing the building, which was always the intention, that it would frame this beautiful historic sandstone building. That was really fun to see, actually.
Over many years, this will change and develop, and that was kind of the reason and the impetus for the plants, bringing in native species and planting them around the sculpture, in which becomes a support structure, kind of like an aging photograph. That age is really part of the process of differentiating between the original and the recreation, the drawing of it. And it's an experiment of working with something so unpredictable. We're just as much a participant or a viewer of the work as everyone else. We're all watching this thing grow.